Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here with some Monday afternoon podcasting here, and I'm so excited to have back with us a woman who comes on every season to talk with us about what she's seeing. She only started watching the season several days ago. Please welcome back, by my unofficial calculation, the 13th season in a row, Hannah Shapiro. Hannah, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome back. Me. I don't know.
Yes, welcome back to you.
Yes, welcome back to me. I love that we get to do this once a season. I get to check in with my best friend Rob.
This is,
see
I
what's up in front of
believe,
an audience.
Sam, I don't know if we have any kind of records on this, but I think that you're officially the Iron Woman of Rob as a podcast. I think this is now 13 seasons in a row. You're back here to talk about the first one way back when we were born into fire in Survivor Game Changers.
You know
and
what?
We've stood the test of time.
We're here. It's so odd that it's been 8 years since my season. Most of the millennials, except Will Wall, are the ages that Gen X was. I have come on this podcast so many times that we are now what Probst would call the old tribe. Although I saw a tweet that when they split the tribe into old men, old women, young women, 32, which is my age, was considered young man, but old woman. So am I old or am I young?
Patriarchy strikes again.
There you go. So I'm old as a woman, but as a man, I'm still young.
Yes, you would be young and virile as a man. But here you are back. And I think this is a record. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this in the history of Rob as a podcast. 13 seasons in a row.
Thank you for having me back so many times.
Yes.
It's a fun tradition at this point.
And I think it's a fun spot to have you because, as I alluded to, you have not been watching the show, but then to get ready for your appearance, you've watched it all in a short amount of time. And so we can get your reactions to the whole thing. We're about at sort of like the 2/3 mark in both our real time and then also in the game, just doing some quick math. It's about that day 16 was the last episode of a 26-day game. So we're around like 2/3 of the way through. So you've experienced the last 2 odd months of our life in a very short amount of time. And I'm excited to get your reactions because you don't really know what people have been saying the last 8 weeks. So you're sort of like in a bubble.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. I feel like when you watch it all at once, you really see the seeds that are planted storytelling-wise.
Baby.
Those seeds, those great seeds. I also, even in my bubble, this cast has been so exuberant on the social medias that some of their exuberance has popped through my bubble and reached even me.
Okay.
But yeah, I've really I've watched it. I feel like I have a superpower because at some points I was watching it at 2.7 speed. So people talk really fast in my head now. But I feel like I've taken
You can process at 2.7?
I didn't used to be able to. I've in the past gone 1.7.
Yes.
But these 90-minute episodes, they demand
because
fast.
Do you know that
Akiva
and I, that we do a lot of 3X on RHAP, that we'll watch like the Fast and the Furious franchise at 3X. And boy, they are so fast and so furious at 3X.
Tag me in for that because
You're in.
I don't know how I do. I tried 3.2 and it was so fast. There were so many flashes. I started getting a headache. I do subtitles with 2.7. Some would say that's like a crutch, but you can't go 2.7 and not have subtitles.
Listen, 2.7 snobs. Like, let her read the subtitles, okay?
Let me read myself.
She's speed reading.
Like the Flash. If the Flash's superpower wasn't running fast, it was just watching Survivor where they talk really fast.
Well, this can be a two-way street because if there's anything that you need my not to say you would need my help, but if there's anything like, hey, I watched this very fast, can you explain this to me, what happened? Then
that might happen.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this podcast now and you want to punish us by watching it at 2.7, let's go. Watch this at
Do.
2.7. Listen to this at 2.7.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to talking about it all through. If you're looking for podcasts specifically about the last week that happened, we have a bunch for you. I started the week with Dr. Christian Hubicki, had a great Survivor Know-It-Alls with Stephen Fishback. And then over the weekend, Chappelle and I got together for Club Condo with Bruce from Survivor 44 and Survivor 45. Very fun time going through everything from the week on that show. But here, we're going to talk big picture and talk about where we're at right now in Survivor 46.
So
we're live. Yeah.
We've really created our own thing. We're not Club Condo. We're not after the episode.
Nope.
We're just Hannah keeps coming back in our house. Where do we put her?
Yeah, but this is like, we're going to talk about the whole thing because I'm sure you have things that happened in episode 1 that are as fresh in your mind as what happened for us on Wednesday.
I can't wait to dive into the whole thing. Shout out as always. I know I won't focus on them too much, but shout out to our live chat and to our live listeners. You know I love you guys. I shout them out. They are always so supportive.
Yeah, I just don't want you to get the chat blinders on where, a la Ron Burgundy, you're just reading the chat instead of having our conversation.
No, of course. You've got 95% of my attention. 3% is to the chat. 2% is I don't know how cute my dog looks sitting over there.
Yes. And also, chat, I'm also asking you, please don't distract Hannah while we're trying to have an important conversation about Survivor. No. Okay.
Their energy as we went into this has given me the confidence I need to talk with you on this special carved out podcast that you've created for me.
Yeah, because this is all about you right now. And we welcome the chat. If you have questions, go ahead, post them away, and then we'll bring them to Hannah if they are appropriate. Okay. Hannah, what have you been working on since the last time we talked?
Oh, so much I've been doing so much fun stuff. Mari from my season, who everyone remembers, the robbed goddess of 33. Yeah, we've been writing, I've been writing comedy sketches that we've been doing together. And I would love if you would like to check those out. We have new ones coming up this week. Some the starting ones are Survivor related. You can go to my Instagram at Hannah Lil Nesson. It's in the thing. It's been so fun to get to process some of the show through comedy and write little sketches for her. She's obviously very talented.
Yes.
And it's been really fun.
Still processing your own experience with the show?
Maybe not the island time itself so much as what it's like being the fated star 8 years later.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much odd
because nobody's explored that part of it yet.
I'm sure people have dipped their toe in, but I think it's fun to write comedy about reality show drama.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I'm really enjoying writing it with her and other comedies. So check that out if you have time. I would love RHAPers to let me know what they think of the sketches.
Did you see anything from Survivor 46 that inspired you to potentially write a sketch?
I mean, I feel like most of the season has felt like a comedy sketch, has it not?
Yes. I mean, this has been, I'm glad you have that same reaction to it, but people are saying, yeah, this is kind of like a really wild season.
It's like if they took the biggest characters from every other season and put them all in one season. It's like we have a Debbie and Coach and all these people, and they're like, let's put them all in one season.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a fun. It's a very colorful season where I think character comes before kind of gameplay.
So would you say that Survivor 46 is a sitcom?
It's a sitcom with a lot of network notes that really pushed it in directions you don't expect.
Is it a dramedy? Is it like a half hour serious comedy?
It feels more like a sitcom than a dramedy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I could see a sitcom. Who's the main character though?
That's what we're all trying to figure out, aren't we? I mean, I I I mean, do you choose the main character as the voice of reason, or is the main
Yeah.
character some of these bigger personalities?
Well, I feel
Who do
like that
you consider them?
typically,
Yeah.
on these sitcoms, I think historically, like the sort of like the normal person is sort of like your rock. And then you have all of the colorful characters to the side. And I think that if I was going to say if Survivor 46 is a sitcom, who's the main character? I feel like it's Charlie.
Mm. I have probably the other side of that coin. I think Charlie's a great sitcom lead. I also think it could be like a Kenzie is the lead and we're on like a new girl type thing.
Hmm.
But I definitely think if we're talking voices of reason, Charlie and Kenzie feel like our audience insight.
Hmm. Yeah. And then you have so many big personalities also
So many.
all the
I
way
mean,
through.
it's really Jeff started this season with one of the oddest starting
Yeah.
speeches of modern survivor where he said some of you will have personalities that nobody will like and you'll lose at the end. And listen, I'm a losing finalist, so we all know this is true, but what an odd way to start off a season where most people will get voted out. And I thought, what is he talking about? And then people laughed and he said, "You're laughing, but it could be you." And I
Hmm.
feel like that's a theme of the season somehow.
Yeah. Which part of it that people will not be liked and they cannot win the game?
That you might have a personality that just doesn't jive with the cast you're on.
Yeah.
And so if you find yourself at the end, that personality will be your downfall, seems to be what Jeff Probst started as the theme of the season. And we're seeing a lot of big personalities sort of not jiving with the group as a whole. It felt like an odd thing to tell um, you know, 18 people where 15 of them were not gonna lose, like 15 of them weren't gonna get voted out. One of them was gonna win. Oh, this is only gonna be the case for potentially two of them. So it seemed like an odd starting point, which makes me think that there's some thematic reason he's saying this.
Yeah. Well, it would think it would be hard for Jeff to necessarily, be that omniscient to know necessarily if that was going to be the case. But maybe is that a truism from Jeff that every season this is the case?
I mean, sure, it could be the case for a person or two, but the majority of the cast, it won't ring true. And yeah, he can't predict the season, but if he gives a 10-minute speech and the one line they choose to really highlight is this line for this
Oh,
season, maybe
interesting.
there's a
Yeah.
reason.
So do you think that maybe that Jeff goes out there and then just says like throws the kitchen sink at them and then in post we'll figure out what the theme was going to be, okay? We'll go with whatever point the season is going to be and then that'll really make sense on a rewatch.
I don't know if it's that extreme, but I think that if this started developing as the case, if it's a big personality season, if
Yeah.
it's a season about navigating big personalities and finding yourself at the end with bigger personalities that don't jive, maybe they kept that in.
Yeah. I like
But
this. This is a good plan. That this you should be in like a pre-production meeting of like, "Hey Jeff, just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. Don't worry. It's going to
I
come
like
out great."
I like the idea that there's one guy listening to the podcast who doesn't realize it's edited at all. And
I
we
was that
press,
guy for a second.
come on, Rob. You
Yeah.
know editing
Oh,
exists.
I know editing exists, but I wasn't even thinking that maybe you could have edited it in a different direction that maybe it didn't make it seem like Jeff was saying that.
It just seemed like a weird place to start. And
Yeah.
it seems to have, you know, it just seems to be a merge
Yeah.
and a game of big personalities.
So, do you think that that speaks to that maybe there's somebody who gets to the end that may have played a good enough game to beat somebody else, but then just for whatever reason, the cut of their jib that the jury did not really connect with them?
That seems to be the prediction. I mean,
Interesting.
As a losing finalist, I understand that that judging that sort of thing would seem maybe glass houses shouldn't throw heavy stones. But I do feel like we're seeing personalities that are kind of being disregarded or not getting along with the group. And then we're watching, you know, people try to navigate through those personalities, and it seems like this season is a storm of personalities, and whichever likable charming person can sail the best through the storm, that's going to be the winner versus sort of alliances and that sort of strategy.
Okay. All right.
It's a
Something to keep an
sailboat
eye on.
season.
Yes. Do you like this season? What's been your reaction to now processing? Because I was trying to think about how many hours you've consumed, and we've seen 8 episodes, but don't forget 90-minute episodes. And so, okay, so there's 8. So at 90 minutes, so that gives us what? 12 hours of show. But don't forget, 2 of the episodes were 2 hours. So that's 13. And to match your 13 appearances across the years, hours of Survivor. I mean, that's with commercials, so shorten it a little bit.
I mean, listen, I've been the first 100 hours was just Yanu. It's kind of hard when one tribe is losing forever.
But you got to know them so well.
You get to know them so well. And now we know Tiff, Q, and Kenzie better than we know ourselves. Um, it feels like a different kind of Survivor season than the other new era seasons so far. It feels like they put a bunch of flavors into a box and just shook it.
Ooh.
I don't quite know how to process this season in terms of like and dislike. It just feels wonky.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's talk about some of the things that have happened in the season. Things that have been, major themes. Do you want me to just throw things at you, or do you have things that were standout moments for you that you want to talk about?
You always start with your things. Let's see what you want to talk about. I'm
Okay.
curious.
All right. Well, you mentioned Bhanu, and he was such a
Mhm.
big part of the first half of what you've watched. What was
Yes.
your reaction to Bhanu?
My reaction to Banu. I mean, uh, it's hard to watch someone who doesn't feel like they're having uh fun even in a tough spot. I think that Yanu as a tribe as a whole seemed to really be having a brutal hand dealt to them. I think that I mean, he definitely monologued like 2 whole episodes. Like, it was
Mhm.
mostly this one man and his story. Obviously, his his overall story is inspiring off the island, but, it's tough to have one narrator and a narrator that doesn't seem to be, taking the show with any amount of humor. It's tough as a viewer. Now, this part of the sitcom, the network's question, they said, "Is this a sitcom?" Or you're right,
Mhm.
"Is this hard drama?" It was definitely there were parts that were tough to watch. I think him begging Tiff on his knees was especially hard to watch.
I'll say. Yeah.
Yes, please
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. Well, Banu, I mean, in the real time, people did not like this in terms of they felt like it was way too much. And in terms of like people's feelings about the season, that was the absolute nadir of season 46 in terms of the popularity of the season. That second week of all straight Banu was we touched bottom on season 46.
It just I really wanted to get to know a lot of people that we weren't really hearing from because they were winning, I guess. Again, if you're going to have one narrator monologuing the whole pre-merge, you hope that it's someone who brings like different dimensions of levity and humor. And unfortunately, that didn't really happen.
Yes. Did Bhanu win your heart, Hannah? Can he add it to the 999,999?
Listen, I'll give him my heart. I'm sorry if he got brutalized earlier on in the season. I don't know that everyone is built for the trenches that is social media reacting to you on live TV. So if he needs my heart to help heal, then he can have part of it.
Okay. Well, all right. That was Bhanu. Okay.
That was Bhanu. That
All
was a
right.
lot quicker than the Bhanu section that I watched.
Okay. Well, if you have anything else to say about Bhanu, this is the time.
Maybe I should throw things back and forth, because there was someone who left that I was very sad she left as early as she did.
Yes. Okay. I think I know who it's going to be.
Jem.
You love Jem.
I loved Jem. I thought
Okay.
Jem was the exact kind of chaos that is fun to watch. Her chaos still has repercussions that are playing out on the show. I was really sad that Jem left, and I think she would have been a really fun merge player. I mean, to be a smaller woman and to still have fun and be good TV in the pre-merge is very hard. And I think Jem would have been a gem post merge, and her whole idol chaos, putting the thing back and then turning it into basically a game of werewolf of who is lying, was brilliant. And I think that justice for Jem for second chances. Jem has my heart.
She did create a lot of chaos, and chaos that is still, as you mentioned, being felt to this day. There was a secret scene this week where I guess, like, in the real time, that I had questioned, like, is this a good move? And then when she got voted out by the whole tribe, other than Mariah, I said, okay, well, I think that probably they all said, okay, we were not fooled by what happened. And maybe Tim wasn't, and maybe Ben wasn't, but Maria in this secret scene from this week still is not even considering that Jem was especially when Maria played the 2 votes on her. I kind of thought, all right, maybe Maria has had it with her, but no, we never really got the answer to why Maria voted out Jem and played her second vote on it. But also, Maria still thinks that it was Tim or Ben that planted the beware advantage.
Yeah, poor Ben seems like the most genuine soul. I mean, he just broke down when Tim left, his buddy, and then to really just feel this human connection and have someone being like, you're lying, is hard. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Oh my gosh, Mariah. Did I say it? Is it right?
Well, it depends what you're going to say. There was a Mariah.
Oh no, hold on. I know her name. Yeah, Maria. I'm so sorry, Maria.
Yeah.
Maria, I will tattoo your name onto my body as penance. I'm not sure why Maria turned against Jem either. I think there was maybe some interpersonal stuff we weren't picking up on. Some reason she seemingly felt closer to the boys. I felt like that female 3 would have been good for Maria, especially pulling Charlie in. I think
Charlie's
for Maria's
Angels
game. Charlie's Angels, I loved. We had Bryce's Angels in our RHAP game. So any Angels, I'm a big fan of a guy with the 3 ladies. But yeah, poor Ben, just really, really a genuine soul. And yeah, Jem has, I think they did not figure out Jem. I just think they thought she was smart and sort of came across conniving or something. But I think Jem had a lot of potential that sort of left with the pre-merge, unfortunately.
Would you do something like that? Would you find the beware advantage and then rehide it just to mess with people, just to see the look on their face when they go look for it and it's not there?
I wish I had. I think it's really fun. I think that's the kind of chaos that is fun, right? You're not being mean to people. You're not sort of
they did get bit by the ants.
Yeah, that's
Giant
true.
ants.
That is hard. You know, she really made them dig through ants. You're right.
And you didn't know this, but we
What?
then found out that somebody from season 43 tweeted, actually, that area that they're digging, that was our latrine.
Well, the whole beach was our latrine in 33, and they haven't moved beaches. Production told us to stop pooping everywhere, and then they stayed in Fiji. Well, that's
you were one of the
gross.
first people to poop on those beaches.
We, you know, other than the OG Fiji season 33.
That was a different part of Fiji.
Started the Fiji run though.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was she created a game of who's lying. It was maybe it wasn't the best move she ever made. Maybe she should have shared with her ladies to bring them tighter to her. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I just think that Jem could have been a bigger player.
Bring her back.
Bring Jem back.
Yes. Okay. You mentioned about Ben. Okay. Ben, that we've gotten to see that he loves music.
Yes.
He's a super nice guy, but he's run into a bit of a hard time. First off, that he has a catchphrase.
Oh, he does.
Yes. What do you think of his catchphrase?
This does not rock.
You gotta brand yourself now. They're all selling merch, so I guess you have to. Should I have sold merch?
What would have been your merch? Should we brainstorm this for a minute?
I want to know what yours would be too. I mean, what if I started at like a glasses line?
Ooh, okay.
Kind of like I designed glasses and then it just said Hannah across the rim.
I like that. I mean, that'd be pretty good.
I'm really proud of what I just created. Let us know if you're listening, if you would buy glasses that said Hannah across the rim or Hannah Lil Nesson.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me was, you know, I had the Magic 8 Ball, but I don't know if that's necessarily merch because it's somebody else's product.
And that's frowned upon.
That's frowned upon. Yes. I did do some I got signed to a this is if I may, okay, tell some Hollywood stories.
No? I want to hear them. Big Hollywood. Let's hear them.
So after I play on Survivor the Amazon, they used to let us bring something called a luxury item. You got to bring one thing from home. You know what? Bring them back. What do we care?
Yeah.
Let them bring look. Who cares? So somebody's gonna bring like a thing from home, then you don't have to flash back. Here's my thing from home. I'll just tell the story of my home.
Yep, I like it.
Okay. So they let us bring one thing. I brought the Magic 8 Ball just as something to have fun. You know, I thought it'd be boring out there. I had all of my suggestions were like toys, like an Etch a Sketch, just something to pass the time. And the people at Mattel, now maybe they are gonna they made the Barbie movie. Maybe they're gonna make the Magic 8 Ball movie.
They might.
I don't know. Maybe they should maybe I'll have a cameo. Probably not.
So you're basically saying you would like an entire movie as your merch.
Sure. I mean, it would be it would be like a nice Easter egg for the people who are in the know to put me in the Magic 8 Ball movie. Yeah.
I just like that your merch is a blockbuster hit.
It's going to be
I just want to clarify that's what it is.
So then after the season was over, then the people at Mattel reached out to CBS. They said, we'd like to sign Rob to make appearances to promote the Magic 8 Ball.
Oh my God, and Hollywood.
They contracted me to make, I believe, 3 appearances to go and promote the Magic 8 Ball.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And how'd they go?
So, first of all, I think they only ended up using 2. I think they paid me for all 3, but I think they only thought of 2 to use me at. I don't remember the other one. But I can tell you that one of them was a New York City PR launch for KY warming jelly. There was a big event, and I went there to the KY warming jelly party, and you could find pictures of this online. This is not a joke. And I took pictures with the Magic 8-Ball.
This is how Hollywood works. If anyone's
Mhm.
listening, this is exactly how it works. Wow. So your name was almost synonymous with Magic 8-Balls.
Oh, and KY
And
warming jelly.
warming jelly.
It gets hot. They just invented it. People probably think, people today probably think, oh, that's been around for 100. No, it got invented, and there was a big PR campaign.
Now, maybe I'm going to be called names, but what exactly is a warming jelly? What is the purpose of that? Is it like icy hot?
Yeah, a little bit. Like it gets here's some pictures of that day. Okay.
Great. I'm so glad we've gone full Hollywood.
I just did a Google search for Rob Cesternino KY jelly. And so here's a picture of me with this woman. I don't know who this woman is.
Who's that woman?
Shelly Nash.
Shelly Nash, the heiress of KY jelly.
Yes. Here she is. Don't really have any information but here's Shelly Nash and Rob Cesternino from Survivor during the KY brand personal lubricants
Look at you
launch.
Holding the 8-Ball.
Yes, I had to. That they send me there to go promote. Like, well, sure. Hey, do we have any places we could send Rob to go promote this children's toy? Hey, how about the KY jelly launch party? Perfect.
Okay, the chat is letting me know that KY jelly is for intimacy. That was my fear, is that I was going to say.
Oh, yeah, yes. You didn't know that? Yes.
It gets hot.
It gets hot on touch. It's okay. You could use it for massages also. Okay?
My parents listening to this pod, so I can't speak further on that. Wow, look at you promoting.
There I am. 8-Ball. Check that. I've got the 8-Ball. It got burnt, maybe from too much warming jelly. It's too hot.
So this cast that is promoting their merch has nothing on
me.
Hollywood.
And here I am with
Rob
this woman also. Look at these. Look at all these. Look at all these women that are here. What do they do? I don't know.
I'm gonna tell Nicole.
She would. I mean, she knew, right?
I don't think
she was happy, but
I don't like seeing.
I was working.
Any other woman other than Nicole.
This was work. I got paid to be there.
I don't want you posing with anyone else but Nicole.
I had like, hey, can you hold up the 8-Ball a little high?
There's on the Google search. There's you and Nicole. Put you.
Yeah,
and Nicole.
Those are other pictures. Those are other pictures from there that night.
We were asked to
Shelly Nash, and then I don't know who these other people are, but the other KY women.
We were asked to submit luxury items, but we were never going to be allowed to have them. But we were asked because I remember Zeke said he had a pillow with his family dog that had died, and he was going to sneak idol materials into the pillow.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's a good idea.
Wow. Rob Hollywood.
Yep. It was actually New York City, but look, I'm just like, I don't want to brag, okay? I don't want to say like, oh, I'm super famous. But look, this was the kind of stuff that happened in 2003, okay?
But see, now this all ties back into Ben's catchphrase. This does not rob.
Okay, one last thing. And I walked around this party. This is not this is a facsimile Magic 8-Ball. Okay, and I walked around this party, and then people were just very curious about why are you walking around with a broken Magic 8-Ball?
That was your into Hollywood or to New York's Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, that was my look. It's a good thing that because what an opener I had at the KY jelly party of like, oh, look at that interesting object you have. I'm going to ask him a question about it.
Rob's Hollywood famous past. That's the thesis of this podcast.
We all have our stories of our brushes with fame. Hannah's got 1,000,000.
My story of my brush with fame is that I went to this guy's birthday party. This guy who's some big sort of like showrunner type that invited me, David Wright, and Cochran as sort of, I like to think of it as like hired party clowns, but we were
Mhm.
like survivor players. We were like the sort of brought in entertainment. He was very nice, but I was like, "Oh, I'm a prop for this birthday," because it was survivor themed. And we
Yes.
had to do little challenges. And I was doing a challenge with this woman, and she kept saying, "Oh, my husband's such a big fan. You have to meet him." And I was like, "Okay, like cool, I having to meet him." She was lovely. And then she goes, "Oh, hey, Adam." And Adam Scott walks over. And
Yeah.
my biggest regret is that I didn't say, "Adam, we should get a picture because you're a fan."
Mhm.
He was very nice, but that was my Hollywood party where I was basically the hired sort of like, "Look, we brought real life survivor players."
Yeah. And you know
And
what?
then we were
That
there.
did rock, okay?
It did. It did rock.
Yeah.
Um I think it's funny that, obviously now we have Mike White in the community that
Yes.
keeps, elevating people to White Lotus fame.
And bringing other survivors onto the White Lotus.
Yes. I think one of the actresses went on a talk show and said she thought
Angelina?
like, yeah, she said she thought Angelina was like a present for her for the day. Um, it's not Survivor fame is not a fame in which people see you
Hold
as
on.
a person.
When you say a present, because the woman was such a big Survivor fan that she thought that Mike White had gifted her like a
There's been
literal survivor? Like
Well,
you
she was like, kind of, and this a similar talk show moment
like
happened.
in a human trafficking sort of way of like, here's your survivor that you get to keep?
You wanna know the weird thing? This is the second talk show where this has happened 'cause, the Miss Maisel actress is a big Survivor fan.
Yes.
Rachel
I've
I
heard
and
that. I've heard
she and
that.
Andrea was an extra on Miss Maisel, and
And
she
she
said on
wanted
a
to
talk
keep
show.
Andrea?
Yes, she went on a talk show and was like, "I thought Andrea was a present for me." Okay, this is getting confused, not in a human trafficking sense. I think that Survivor players are seen as like Pokemon trading cards, kind of. We're just like these
Gotta catch them
weird
all.
kind of. If
Yeah.
this might be too inside baseball.
Yeah. Do you think
I'm
that maybe
realizing
one day we'll both be locked up in the same basement
of some famous celebrity that just loves
that's
Survivor.
collected
It
us all?
probably I mean, Sia collects the most publicly.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah. But I don't think she keeps them. She does like catch and release. Like she brings them
mhm.
in and she brings them to her home, but then she lets them go.
I hope whichever celebrity catches me lets me go eventually.
Yeah. They get to go back free, you know?
At this point in the podcast, this is usually when we'd be 2.5 hours in, not the first 45 minutes. Someone
Mhm.
is listening and thinking they're not talking about the season.
We did say we were
Um,
going to talk about the season.
yes, we are gonna continue to talk about the season.
Yeah.
Let's refocus onto the
Okay.
season.
All right. Tell me, Hannah, what did
Yes.
you make of the young man who got the whole season started? The man that goes by the name Jelinski.
Mhm. I apparently this weekend is Adam Klein's wedding, his nuptials, and
Congratulations to Adam Klein.
Kaylee, who is amazing.
Yes.
And she is the best. And I love Kaylee so much. And I'm so happy for them. I'm just gonna cry the whole time. They honestly are such a good couple. There's rarely a couple where you see them on social media and they're as happy as they are. They are.
Yes.
I
Now,
love
are
them.
they registered anywhere? Does Adam want any survivors? He's a
Oh,
big fan.
Pokemon Con. Well, that's the thing. I heard through the rumored grapevine that Sir Jelinski might be there. So I will get to
Oh,
meet Jelinski in a week. I don't know if again this is too inside baseball. So
no.
I'm sure Jelinski is listening to this right now. So I'm excited to meet Jelinski. This kid was 22, a super fan. I'm a bit sad that he only lasted several seconds because I think he would have been fun. I love that his name has been echoed throughout the season as a super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately that Yanu tribe
Yes.
is real brains tribe
Yeah.
back in the Spencer Tasha days.
Do you
So
think, looking back, do you think that Rachel Aiko could have like gotten like a catchphrase out there that could have been repeated throughout Millennials versus Gen X?
Rachel, who will also be at the Klein nuptials, um, I wasn't out there at all with Rachel, so I don't know what she was saying.
But
But
maybe
I'm
if Jeff could have said, if she could have just like gotten a word wrong in a memorable way that just was an earworm for everybody.
I wish she had. I wish Rachel's name echoed throughout our season.
Oh,
I bel
echoed.
Rachel, that was intentional. Uh,
Yeah. Do you think, Hannah, if you're not to say you personally, okay, but hypothetically, somebody's listening to this podcast, they're going to be on Survivor 40 several. It's day 2.
40 several. Okay.
Yes. It's day 2. Things are not going well. Things are it's looking bleak. Do you just swing for the fences with like saying something bizarre that is going to be the episode title that maybe people are going to repeat so you can Jelinski yourself into eternity?
I think that if things are not going well, that you should have fun and you should
Yeah.
do that. I think you asked me about Bhanu, and I don't have anything as a person inherently negative to say about the man. But I just think if things are not going well, why not have a blast? Like if
Yeah.
you were like, I almost swore. If you are screwed, if you're like, I'm 100%, like people just are not, it's not working, then just have a great time. Like really soak it in. Yeah, Jelinski it. I think I think you really should. Jelinski, oh my gosh, look who's in the chat. I know no distractions of the chat, but I believe tenured professor Christian Hubicki is in the chat. Jelinski will be single-handedly responsible for giving us a first boot all-stars. There you go. Tenured
he could
professor.
be back. He could be back as a first boot. I don't know if we'll have a whole cast unless everybody follows his footsteps.
Yeah, when it was season 50, first boot all-stars.
Yeah. So Jelinski, he really made a mark on the season.
He made several marks.
He did. He certainly did. They're still talking about him every episode. Did you see now when they were going through the episodes? I don't know if you saw that episode 7 was called Episode Several from CBS. Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
No, I'm good.
That's not a joke.
This. I feel gullible.
No, I'm not lying.
Oh my gosh, it is. You're not lying.
I'm not lying. His impact, right?
This shows you I'm very gullible and a very bad liar. I should have never played Survivor. I had to check. Yes, the Jelinski impact. Yeah, if you're going to go out there as a super fan and you're going to go home on day 2, he got to name an episode. He gets mentioned all the time.
Every week.
I think Jeff misses him, honestly.
They miss him. He's so exciting. Hannah, okay, so it's hypothetically, it's day 2, maybe day 3. You're a first-time player. Things aren't going well.
This is 26 days or 39?
26 days. 26 days. Okay. What are you
Things
saying?
Aren't going well.
Yeah. What's your Jelinskiism that makes sure people are never going to forget your name?
I think I go old school and just burn everything down.
You burn everything. Well, I think it's harder to use in conversation.
You don't have flint though. I guess that's harder too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you start wearing everybody's clothes. I don't know.
You just put on everybody's clothing.
Put everyone's clothes on and just burn it down. What's your phrase? What's your day two remember me forever? I think what Jelinski did is hard.
Yeah, it's
What do you
hard because
say?
I almost feel like that. I guess he could like make up some kind of like colloquialism, and people are like, "Is that a phrase?" I don't know if that's actually a phrase that people use. But what he did was that he like had like a point of contention of like, you said several means 7, and people are like, no. I had to correct him.
But what is your thing? How do you make your
well,
mark?
what if maybe I get there and I'm like mad that I thought coconut was chocolate. It's called cocoa. It's supposed to be chocolate. What the hell is this?
Wow. You Jelinski'd it.
No,
You did it.
It's not coconut. It's a coconut.
See, you and Jelinski have cute little things to be remembered, and I'm putting on everyone's clothes and burning down the camp.
Yeah. I don't know if that would be
Basically,
remembered fondly.
Oh, sorry. I just got a text that my mom has sent a question. In
Yes.
case anyone
Okay.
was worried.
Is it a voicemail?
I believe so. That doesn't have to be an immediate thing.
Should we go right to it?
Should we go right to it? Okay. I tried to turn off messages on my computer, and I'm still getting
Okay.
dings. Jelinski. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I mean, there's different ways to be remembered. I mean, Zach got remembered because Marianne said he was
Yeah, but that wasn't
cute,
even what he
so
did. Yeah.
I know. She just sort of lobbied
He was
one.
just, so attractive that Marianne had to comment on him, even though he was gone. I mean, that's hard to, to like
to replicate or to ensure.
Yes.
It's hard to ensure that you're just so, beautiful in someone's type that you get automatically remembered that way. I think what Jelinski did is almost as hard as winning. I think it's very hard to be this named
Hannah,
after day 2.
There are winners that we don't talk about as much as Jelinski.
I mean, props to Jelinski. I will let you know what he does at the wedding. How he's remembered at this wedding. Maybe that's his thing. Any event he goes to, he just
is going to be,
sure
I mean, do you think he has material of like, if the wedding is like, I'm sure it's going to be great, but like for whatever reason,
south,
there's like a lull in the action. Do you think he has material ready to go?
I think he's ready to do Jelinski all over this wedding.
I feel like that's not a good verb.
Yeah, it sounds like I think
if it's your wedding, I don't think you want to get Jelinski'd.
It's not my wedding.
Yeah.
It is not my wedding.
So, okay.
We got to hear from my mom.
All right.
She's texted me that she sent it in.
All right. Here's what do you think your mom is going to want to ask? Do you have a prediction?
I mean, I have a sense that she's going to give us her winner pick, and she's been vocal about this to me, so I won't spoil it for her voicemail.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Here's Hannah's mom.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Liz.
I hope I make it into your podcast. I just spent the day
You're here.
snowmobiling and backcountry skiing.
Wow.
And that made me think I better ask my usual question, which is who you guys think will win this year. My pick is Hunter.
Oh.
I think he is great that he practices the challenges at home, not just the jigsaw puzzles, and that he is a science teacher, and so he probably needs $1 million. Also, I think he would have enjoyed my adventure in the backcountry today. So I'm going with Hunter. Let me know who you think will win. Bye.
Okay. Hunter,
I feel I want Hunter, if you hear this, to please go skiing with my mother. I feel like she sounds like she would welcome you skiing.
Yeah. Okay.
Hunter.
What do you think of
sweet boy?
Yes. What do you think of mom's winner pick? Hold on. Hannah is muted. Okay. Yes. Okay.
I am unmuted now. Did I get unmuted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It sounds okay. Yes. Go ahead.
I mean, Hunter is very rootable. A full ride to med
Yeah.
school, and then you decide to become a
I think
science teacher.
you switched to the other mic. I think you
Let
maybe you're on
me
AirPods now
real quick.
instead of
Yes,
the.
I'm gonna testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Okay, here we are. We're back.
Like,
You're good.
okay, so sorry,
Yes.
everybody.
Hey, why don't you take that again? And then
Well,
for
I
the
think
audio podcast, we'll make it like none of this ever happened.
yes, only the live people will know what
They
happened
love
on.
this stuff. They like to see behind the scenes.
Um, I think Hunter is very rootable. I understand why my mom is rooting for him. I mean, he's so good at hide and seek. If that doesn't say something, no, I mean, a full ride to med school and then becomes a science teacher. He's clearly he like backflipped off the pole. And whether it is jury management or to lower his threat, he hasn't been really voting the people out. So I don't know that I am watching, and it feels like at some point they're gonna want to get him out since he
Mhm.
is so likable, and that's in life not a bad thing to be. But while I really do like Hunter and his likableness, I guess I would be more leaning towards Kenzie or Charlie.
Mhm.
That's sort of the duo I've been tracking as our sitcom protagonists.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect to Hunter, he seems like a nice guy, but I mean, what is he doing that he's so likable? I
I
mean, I guess he's good at the challenges. I can see why that appeals to your mom, who is, quite the outdoors woman.
I mean, I think he, in terms of someone being like, okay, this guy's a threat, we should vote him
I don't
out.
see him ever talk to anybody else except for Tevin.
He I think he's likable in just the way he builds things and climbs trees and is good at the challenges. I think he's likable in a very traditional survivor sense.
Mhm.
That I think that if he ended up at the end with people who are not jiving with the tribe, I could see him
Mhm.
finding a win. I don't think that his uh strategic navigation story is being told. I don't really know what
But does
his
he
game
have a
plan
story
is.
to be told? I mean,
I don't know.
I feel like he's good at the challenges and can do that, but I just have not seen any evidence that he knows how to play the game yet.
Is he a part of the Shaky Six?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, interesting. Um we have not heard enough of him speaking for me to understand if it knows what's going on or not, to be
Hmm.
honest. I have no idea based on the storytelling what Hunter's awareness of the game is. But I can see as someone went home because the shelter was so uncomfortable and got
Hmm.
medevac. So he kept his tribe alive, if you really think about it, with his bed making skills.
Yeah, well, a little too late for Randon.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I see why he's likable. I don't know enough about his game awareness, whereas
Hmm.
people
Yeah,
like
no, he seems nice, for sure. That he's not saying a bad word about too many people. He seems like a nice enough guy. I just am not seeing that he is good at Survivor yet, other than the challenges and finding idols.
it's like if they don't show us him discussing it, I have no way of knowing his level
Hmm.
of awareness. Maybe his votes are to
Sure.
keep people off his back and to lower his threat level. Maybe it's because he has no clue what's going on and he is constantly surprised by votes. There's just no way to know without hearing from him. And
Hmm.
I don't think it's fair to be like, "Oh, he has no strategy." We're not getting confessionals. Maybe it's because they don't exist. Maybe it's because we're just not getting them. So
Yeah.
I don't know what Hunter's deal is. He's just a cute blonde mystery, I guess.
He's a mystery. Okay.
He's a mystery. Whereas I feel like the winner picks that I brought up, we have
Yes,
heard their
Charlie
story
and
at
Kenzie.
every Charlie and Kenzie, we know. And again, I love Tiff as well. Like this is not, but I feel like we're getting a full story from both Kenzie and Charlie. When Charlie isn't making a move, we hear a confessional about why he's playing defense. The last vote, not last night, but this past week's vote, it didn't seem to actually come down to Charlie and Maria, and yet we heard a confessional from Charlie saying we're like the middle pin of this vote. So we're being told full stories of both Kenzie and Charlie. And so that's more where I would lean.
Hannah, we're almost an hour into this thing, and we haven't even talked about Q. And he's been such a big part of the season, especially these last couple of weeks. I would love to get your reaction to Quintavious.
I think hide and seek made it into the episode because he was so engaging as a narrator. I was trying to describe to someone how funny the hide and seek thing was because of his narration. And they asked me, like, oh, was it tongue in cheek? Was he being like funny about it? I was like, no, he was so sincere that it became funny.
Yeah.
I mean, Q is kind of a find like a coach. I mean, an instant classic narrator and someone who this is really a season of everyone thinks they're the protagonist of the sitcom. And I
Mhm.
really appreciate when everyone believes they're the protagonist. And Q really has that written on his Q skirt. You know, he's like, I am the protagonist. I am the hero. And I love when everyone thinks they're the lead.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's great.
So many different things to follow up on.
Yes.
Let me ask you about hide and seek. How would
Mhm.
you handle hide and seek?
My most recent time I played hide and seek, I hid in a shower and then I realized there was shavings all in the shower. So I did it badly.
Hmm.
That's not what you were asking. You were asking out there.
Can I ask you some follow-up questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was an adult game of hide and seek, or you were hiding from
There
children?
there was a child that
There was a child.
there was a child. She wanted to play hide and seek. I was like, "Okay, let's hide in the shower." And then I looked down and it was just shavings.
Mm. So somebody had shaved and they didn't run the water?
That it seems to be what happened. I feel embarrassed for telling this story.
Yeah.
That's you were asking hide and seek on the island.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Um, how would I have handled hide and seek? I mean, I don't know that I could get up a tree like Hunter. So where somewhere comfortable, maybe I would use it to take a nap. There's
Take
no
a nap.
downtime, you know? I'd find
Yeah.
I think Ben hid like under a big leaf. That seemed like a perfect napping spot. That's what
Now,
I would do.
Hannah, you played on a tribe of all young people. Were there any sort of ideas for, hey, let's do a big group activity? How about tag?
We played dirty charades.
Okay.
We made a bonfire and we played dirty charades. It could not have made the episode as it was dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Interesting.
we did have fun.
Okay.
But I don't think anyone was analyzing the dirty charades like Q.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what was missing.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you think that Q would have been able to analyze the dirty charades and be able to intuit anything about the way the people played the game?
I think Q could analyze a blank piece of paper. I think that's why
Yeah.
Q is fantastic casting. He could analyze anything.
Okay.
I think he's really good casting.
Okay. Figgy, she said menage a trois. That means she's working on a 3-person alliance.
And he would be right.
Made a mistake.
I fully support Q. I think that that this is what I mean by like just this colorful season of moving puzzle pieces. I think Q is a big puzzle piece in this in this really nutty fun season. Do you
Mhm.
like Q? Do you
Of
enjoy
course.
Q's time as
How
Ray?
could I not enjoy,
How could you
Q?
not how can you not like a guy that goes to tribal and like I like to imagine the little I know on this podcast you don't talk about it often, but the little room of producers who didn't know that he was going to blow up tribal and
Yeah.
he just throws a wrench in it. And it is I just like to imagine that little room of like the sound guy, all the like segment producers being like, "Excuse me now," because they're
Yeah.
pretty good at knowing what's going to happen at
Well,
tribal.
can you give us your read on what Q did at that tribal? And because that's been the big question that we've been trying to unravel all week of what was he thinking?
Yeah.
Did he actually want to quit? Was he planning a move?
Yeah, I've discussed this with people because I also
Look at
was
you now. You're
look,
so tapped in. A week ago,
well,
you didn't know any of this.
a week ago, I didn't know what Survivor was. And now I'm like a recruit that gets pulled into play
Yeah.
Survivor who does their
You've lived
homework.
life on 2.7x.
I've watched this at 2.7 to 3.2, and then I've talked to I've discussed this with the masses. Yeah, Q, I was wondering, was he actually trying to quit? Q has a line in the episode that says, "I wanted to be in control of every vote," which is fascinating because most winners are not. I mean, there are some, of course, you have your Tonys, um, your Boston Robs, but most winners are take their foot off the pedal a lot during different
Mhm.
parts of the season. I think a skill of most winners is that you don't feel the need to be in charge of everything, that you know when to play dumb, you know when to go, "Oh, I'll just do whatever," so that you lower threats. And so, we watch Q get upset that he is no longer able to just vote out Tiff, his desired vote. And I think that he didn't like not being in control. And so this seemed to be an attempt, two things. One seemed to be an attempt to take back control, to be like, well, if I can't control the vote, then I'll control me going home. Or if I can't control the vote, I'm going to, mess up this new plan that is like Liz's plan and not mine. It's part like an ego thing. I'm like, I'm going to throw a fit or a wrench or like and if I go home while doing this, I'll say it's what I wanted. It's sort of a control thing. But the other part of it, and we see it in the preview for next episode, is I think he didn't want Tiff with him on the beach when she realized what he'd done. I think that he was like, she needs to be on the jury because she's going to find out that I talked about her idol and I
Yes.
want her mute on the jury, like unable to talk to me. And I think he thought, oh, shit. Now I'm going to have this woman who trusts me completely, who has proven herself to be strong and great and also, vocal. She's going to find out what I did while we're stuck on a beach together. And I think he felt bad or like got nervous about that. That's my analysis.
Mhm.
As the week long expert.
Yeah.
What
Do you
do
think
you
that
do you think I'm off?
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you said. When you said, okay, I'm with you that Q wants to be in control, but when you say he got nervous that she was going to find out about this, what was his intention then to say what he said? Was he trying to get Tiffany voted out at the tribal council?
Thank you for asking a clarifying question. I did do a long monologue, almost at 2.7 speed, to explain my thoughts on this. Um, I think it was. Maybe if Tiff had gone home, it would have been somehow a bonus to him. But I think he was genuinely upset and freaked out that he wasn't in control of the vote. I
Yeah.
think he couldn't stand, and this is why he's such brilliant TV, right? Like the flaws of every person create just catastrophe this season. And I think he couldn't stand the fact that he was not leading or in control or deciding this vote. And he thought, well, I'm going to say something that's going to either make me go home, and then at least I decided I went home, or it's going to mess up this clean blind side someone else is trying to do. I don't necessarily think he was then trying to push it to Tiff.
Yeah. I had wondered if maybe he was trying to get the votes onto him and then get Tiffany to play the idol on him as something that he had thought of to do, because he tells her
Really?
at the tribal council that all the votes were going to be on her, which is not the case. But I do think that you're on the right track in terms of him trying to do damage control, because she's about to find out about his involvement in all of this. And so whether he was just trying to like change the narrative up or if he had like a bigger plan, I definitely think it stems from him feeling that Tiffany was going to find out about the conversations he had been having that day.
I just want to understand. You think he was trying to get her to play the idol on him?
I think that, well, if he says like, hey, I got the votes on to me, Tiffany, play your idol on me tonight. And
Did he
then
say that? Did I miss that somehow?
He did not say, it did not get to that point.
Okay.
He did not say play your idol. He did tell Tiffany she was going to be voted out at that tribal council, and that she did not have the votes to send home Tevin. She definitely did. So she was not going. She was not going home, but yet he told her that she was going home. I still think that is odd.
To be clear to those thinking, I had to watch this tribal at 1.2. This was not a 2.7.
Yeah, slow it down. Slow it down.
Gotta slow it
but
down.
we don't know what Q was thinking, and I don't know if we ever will. I mean, Q,
he says a lot of what he's thinking on Twitter.
He does. Yeah, check this out. Okay, so
Maybe
we did
we
Club
should,
Condo.
Can I take a 5-minute freeze? Is that allowed? I hate to
Let's see. How we let me just think about what's
Am
the
I
best
allowed
way.
can I do that?
Let me think about what's the best way to do that. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. You take a 5-minute freeze. And I'm I'll talk to the chat, and maybe we're gonna cut this part out of the podcast. Okay.
Yes, I'm Chad. I'm leaving you in the capable hands.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, chat. It's just us. Let's go to full screen on Rob. Let me take this down so you can see my face. Let's see. What should we do? A couple of different options. I could do a Sporkle quiz. I could answer your questions. I could look at something else online. Okay. Question from Selena. Rob, what does Hannah think about the new Taylor Swift album? We need to know. We can ask her that. Okay. We could play the alphabet game. I don't know how you could play that with one person. Okay. Hannah just went to Best Buy. We'll talk about that when she comes back. Appropriately. Okay. I don't know about the alphabet game.
Okay. I'm back. I hope you didn't spend the whole time
show us the lifetime supply of warming jelly.
Testing
okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yes. Okay. No, I don't think it was a lifetime supply.
Someone said that Sophie Clark had a tweet about how to do the rice thing. I don't know if we.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I don't know. I don't.
Question. It's Ray James, and now I'm curious to check it out.
Okay, well maybe post the link. Sam had to leave behind the scenes, so I'm flying this plane by myself. Okay.
Solo.
Okay. All right, but let's dive back in. Okay.
Yes, let's dive.
Hannah, you mentioned it.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. All right. We'll put it in the private chat, and I will go to it later. Okay.
I don't. All right. Okay. Let's dive back in.
Yes. Nicole says Hannah's 5 minutes was on 2.7 speed. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. So you post that and we could look at it. All right. Hannah, you mentioned from over the weekend, Q tweeted a little late for Club Condo, but here we go. He says,
Oh boy.
Q tweeted 12:33 p.m. tweeting live from the at Best Buy bathroom. If you ever have to take a dump, go to Best Buy. One of the cleanest bathrooms I've ever did number 2 in. Wow.
Debatable.
Okay. How about that?
Wow. X is better than ever.
Better than ever. X is back thanks to Q. Okay, he tagged Best Buy.
Oh, did
In
Best
this?
Buy respond? He
It
got
does
1,000
like,
likes. So wait, he got 1,000 likes on this.
he
tweet.
got 1 million hearts from this occasion. Bhanu is like, what do I have to do? Where do I have to go number 2? Tweeting live from the Best Buy bathroom. If you ever have to take a dump, go to Best Buy. One of the cleanest bathrooms I ever did number 2 in. Wow.
Wow. I truly.
Yes. Hold on. Yes.
I'm back. I
You're
know.
back.
I had some technical difficulties.
Yes. Okay.
We're working without Sam. We got this. We're gonna get back on track.
Yeah.
Wow. Q tweeted from the Best Buy bathroom. I was more referring to the fact that we have had exit press on social media from this cast after every episode.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they've been very, but this is super interesting, I think. First off, do you think that other survivors, will Q be a game changer in this way? Will other survivors start tweeting about what stores have the best bathrooms?
If it gets them 1,000 likes, I have a feeling they might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't
mean,
know if I've ever been to the Best Buy bathroom.
I don't think I have. I'm trying to think if there's been a bathroom that's really stuck out in my mind, even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you is there a bathroom that sticks out in your mind, Rob?
Well, I mean, I think about places like a Buc-ee's, places that are sort of known for their bathrooms. I've never really thought about the restrooms at Best Buy. Nicole says on the B&B, Jesse said he used to work at Best Buy, and this does not apply to all locations.
Okay, well, there you go.
Mhm.
Don't save it for Best Buy, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never been in a Buc-ee's. I didn't realize they were known for their bathrooms.
Definitely treat yourself to that. But yeah, so Q says that, and he told us, tweeting live from the Best Buy bathroom. He didn't even wait to say, "Hey, guess what? If you have to go number 2, check out Best Buy." Do you think should this have been hashtag ad in the tweet? Do you think that
If
Q
he's
is
not
on the
getting
take?
paid, if he's not getting paid for it, it's technically not an ad.
Yeah, he's just recommending, pro tip, life hack, check out Best Buy.
He's gonna listen. You had your figure 8 ball, your crazy 8 ball. He's trying to get his magic. You had your magic 8 ball. He's trying to find his way into Hollywood, and I think Best Buy bathrooms might be his way.
Best Buy bathrooms. Okay, so maybe like he could have like a meetup.
Like
at a Best
meet
Buy.
and greet, like a sign deal. He signs pictures of himself.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to know from the listeners where are the other good stores to check out?
Yeah, if you have a recommendation for an especially clean bathroom, please let us know.
Is it because they have the Geek Squad? The geeks keep the bathroom especially clean?
Honestly, I don't know. I was in an Uber once, and I was Ubering I was teaching after school at different elementary schools. And I pulled up to this clearly an elementary school, and my Uber driver asked me if he could come in and use the bathroom in the elementary school. And I said, "No, sir, you cannot. I can't let you into this elementary school." And obviously Uber drivers need good places to use the bathroom. He should check out Best Buy.
Check out Best Buy. Okay. Now, do you think that Q had a pitch meeting at Best Buy? Because Q also said that he had some big meetings over the weekend about selling the Q skirt. And so do you think that it's possible that Best Buy is going to be the place to go to buy a Q skirt.
It seems like yes. And the Q skirt. Are you ready to buy?
So I have a lot of questions for you about the Q skirt. Number one, do I need to purchase a Q skirt, or can I Q skirt with what I already have? I talked to my son about this, and he said, "Dad, are you going to get a Q skirt?" I said, "Son, I think I have about 15 Q skirts already."
Yeah, if you have a hoodie and you turn it around, you just have to tag Q in it. You have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Am I stealing money from Q if son, we have Q skirts at home.
Is this going to be the next big scandal? The Rob Cesternino Q skirt stolen merch on Survivor Twitter.
Okay. Well, here is my question for you though, Hannah. Okay.
Okay.
And at the risk of being gender normative,
Okay.
is the Q skirt for men only? Is the Q skirt designed for women? Because I feel like that the problem that Q is looking to solve is that women traditionally have purses and all sorts of different places to put things. Whereas the Q skirt, the fundamental problem it's trying to solve is that maybe men don't have as many places to put their stuff.
No, I think women always want more pockets. I think this can be a cross-gendered
For the whole
product.
family.
I think it's for the whole family. I think a baby would have a great little Q skirt, because then if they drop their food
yeah. No, a baby could have like a Q skirt full of Cheerios, of just like just put like a bowl of cereal into the hood, and the baby would love that. Like my little nephews, this would be great for them.
See, this podcast is feeling like how the season feels. There's so many random things in a 90-minute episode of Survivor to discuss, more than ever before.
Mhm.
It's fascinating having a season with so many scenes that are about Q skirts and hide and seek and all of that.
Mhm. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm curious what further questions the listeners had about the
Yes,
episode.
about the Q skirt. Okay. Let me
About
see.
the Q skirt. Okay, the next hour will be about the Q skirt.
Well, we have so many questions. Okay.
I saw a bunch on Twitter.
Yes. Okay. How about
Tagged a bunch.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Okay, this is not.
Okay.
I'm not taking a listener question yet. Okay, I want to know from you. We saw another moment with Q this season.
Mhm.
Q talked to Mariah, and he said, "Mariah, who's your favorite player?" And she said, "You know what?
Aubrey.
My favorite player is Aubrey." And
Made a mistake.
Because Aubrey was setting people up. Mariah had to go. All right.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, I just feel like there's no good answer, is there? I feel like
what if Mariah had told Q,
Hannah.
my favorite player is Hannah Shapiro?
He would have said she had a panic attack. She likes anxious people. I can't have that. She's got to go. I think there's no.
You think so?
There's no good answer. I feel like Mo did not do anything wrong by saying Aubrey. I will start with that. But maybe she should have said a player who was very different from her, so that Q would not associate said player with
Who
Mo.
should she have said?
Rachel Echo.
Whoa. Okay.
I think she could have chosen a beautiful man like Malcolm. Just someone, I think Mo.
Malcolm, though?
Made a mistake.
Mo has curly hair and I believe glasses. Yes. And so when you say Aubrey, he's going to think that she is like Aubrey. Although I saw social media pointing out that, Aubrey, like me, did not win. So it's not like she chose someone who who, got out everyone in one. So it is an odd thing to send someone packing.
Mm-hmm.
The Mo thing was fascinating, right? She sort of protected her tribe that had betrayed her just to realize she shouldn't have done that. I found that to be an interesting storyline.
Yeah, she
Um,
was trying to be a good soldier.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
She did not do what Aubrey would have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it was that was a cue, maybe.
Made a mistake.
Okay. All
I
right.
think she should have chosen Rachel. Yes. Cole Metters, I see in the chat. Yes.
Mhm.
She should have said Cole.
Challenge threat. He was a challenge threat.
I think she should have just said like the person, just the prettiest man.
No, I think this is what you do. Just make up a name. Just make up
Ronald.
Yeah. Just Q knows 750 Survivor players.
But then if you say someone like you, Ronald, he'll be like, I don't know this Ronald, so I don't know what to expect from Mo.
He's like, oh, Tanya Johnson. She was so funny.
Oh yeah, I love Tanya.
She was she was just so nice and people
loyal.
liked her.
She was so loyal to her friend.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because Q. So
yes,
Tanya was loyal to Y till the end, and then Y won.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be like Tanya.
That's why. Why won? Yeah.
Why won?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's Q. How about from following Survivor says, what was the Qest thing that Hannah did or saw done in her season that didn't make the edit? Was there anything that happened in your season that was so galaxy brain that, but somehow they couldn't include it in the show?
Galaxy brain? Can you define that for me further?
It's a big idea that people are not ready for.
Oh man, a big idea that people are not ready for.
That's something that like makes your brain melt.
I'm not sure we had someone as distinct as Q with these galaxy-like ideas. I mean, can you think of any equivalent? I don't
I don't know because I wasn't. I mean,
you were there. You were on my season, were you not? I remember
when
you played the idol for Jessica. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So okay, we'll come. That's fine. If you think of something, we can get into it. We can
circle back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the tweeter that I don't have a Q like immediate. I think I mean, Michaela had a lot of big plans and big ideas before she was sent home. She had this, she had us all as rocks and was like showing us how we were gonna, be this like tree and we were gonna get people out. I just actually saw Michaela in Dallas after I did an Eclipse trip. My boyfriend and I drove. Yeah.
How was it?
Incredible. My boyfriend and I and my dog drove to Arkansas to see Totality. And I'd never been to the South before. So my first Southern experience and my first total Eclipse experience.
So wait, you flew to Dallas and drove to Arkansas?
No, we drove from LA to Arkansas.
Wow. How long of a ride is that?
It was a couple days. It was about 2 days.
And you must have seen the entire country.
It was so cool. We had...
And you didn't go to Buc-ee's at one point the whole time?
No, we did have our barbecue in Arkansas, barbecue in Texas.
And you stopped at Best Buys along the way?
Yeah, just shitting in every Best Buy. You can see it on Instagram threads. We went to Oklahoma. I had never been to. Oklahoma and Arkansas are beautiful. But yeah, we saw Michaela in Dallas, and she introduced us to her favorite barbecue place. But I guess the equivalent would be all the plans. She had a lot of big ideas in terms of how we were gonna stay
but she never said let's go play hide and seek.
No, she messed up. She didn't even know to suggest it. Big mistake.
Yeah,
but made a mistake.
What was her dirty charade? Can you reveal that?
I don't remember. It was 100
Mhm.
lifetimes ago.
100 lifetimes
But
ago.
I'm sure it revealed a really smart person.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about another really smart person. What have
Okay.
you thought about Liz this season? Have you Liz, has not dominated the airtime, but there's been a lot of talk about Liz online. What have you thought about Liz? Liz Wilcox, the one and only.
The She's done 300 podcasts. Has she ever done an RHAP adjacent?
And not yet. We posted her preseason interview.
I mean, I'm excited for her to make RHAP her 301st podcast.
God
Um,
knows how many she's done since then.
she is getting a real weird story. I can't quite follow what the Survivor gods are trying to tell us about Liz. I find her. I actually think a lot of the time she seems, pretty nice and logical in terms of like maneuvering through stuff. But then, we'll see this montage of her talking about her millions of dollars and
Yeah.
her podcast. So I honestly don't, from the story itself, don't have a great grasp on Liz. Do you? I mean, as there is what is what's the fever pitch on Liz in the in the world?
Yeah, well, would love to talk about that a little bit. She's having a lot of fun, I think, with it. I don't know necessarily like where she's come in and talked about her massive fortune that she
Mhm.
has. I don't know how much of this is strategy. I don't know how much of it is gameplay, and I don't know if she is like putting us on to any degree in terms of like embracing the bit. I feel like that a lot of times people try to downplay, oh no, like I don't really I'm just like, I'm just joking around, but she seems to be really steering into this like Scrooge McDuck type character.
I I want to say it's strategy. I think that telling people how wealthy you are, maybe it's strategy. I'm going to put my penny on strategy. But
Okay.
I don't I she's had such an odd sort of showing. I don't
Yes.
really know if she I don't know. Does she lose at the end? Does she, go out in a ball of flames? Like I honestly can't tell you. I don't have a great read on
Do you
Liz and I
think,
have watched the whole season.
yeah, if you would have told more people in Millennials versus Gen X that your net worth was very high, do you think that could have
Mm.
helped you maybe?
Uh I don't think that was my issue.
Maybe at the final trial council, you could have come clean and said, everyone, I have to tell you something. Like, I am actually already a
Billionaire.
millionaire. Yeah.
And I'm gonna donate all the money to
Yeah.
homeless penguins. I really
Yeah.
think
Even Gabler
yeah,
didn't do that.
uh, yeah, I don't think it's a good final tribal strategy, to be clear.
Hmm.
I think if it's a strategy, it's to get to the final tribal. So,
Right.
just to clarify that for any future players listening.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think she'll
but
come back around and say, I was joking? I'm not actually a multimillionaire.
I think that if she makes it to the end, she might say that she was exaggerating. Do you not
Hmm.
think that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't get the sense that she's going to walk it back because her social media personality has also been to continue to steer into this. That somebody who tweeted out the other day asked Liz Wilcox for money. A lot of people are asking Liz Wilcox for money on Twitter. This person, Jess's mother, said, "Can you Venmo me $8 so I can get Wendy's?" And Liz Wilcox says, "Now, if you can't get Wendy's on your own, I'm afraid $8 won't help you, babe."
Wow. Should I ask Liz Wilcox for
She doesn't seem to be giving it. Lots of people I feel like are
she's
asking her
not
for money.
Cia-ing it, yeah.
She's
What if
not giving out
of
the Sia prize.
instead of the Cia prize, it becomes the Liz Wilcox prize?
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah,
like she could become the new Cia. I mean, at some point, Cia's gotta retire from just handing out thousands of dollars, right?
you would think so.
I guess not, and that's why we need to tax the
Once
rich.
Sia captures all of the survivors she likes, I don't know, maybe she may not even need to watch the show anymore.
And then Liz can start handing
Yeah.
out money.
Now, can I just add one thing? So,
Yes.
I've been to many a Wendy's. I don't know if you stopped at any on your trip across the, South of America, but not South America. I would say I would not give them a high rating on the Best Buy score.
I have not been to many Wendy's. I've been more of a McDonald's girl on my road trips. McDonald's, perfectly fine.
Fine.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's not sure it's as high as Best Buy, but doesn't sound like it's as low as Wendy's. My only issue with McDonald's is the dollar menu is now the 1, 2, 3, 4 menu.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like the 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2. Someone can correct me. I'm sure they
Some
will.
things are $1, but some things are $2, and some things are $3, some things are $4.
It's not the dollar menu anymore. It's
Yeah.
gotten too expensive.
They got too expensive, and
yes.
so only Liz Wilcox can eat off the dollar menu
it.
now.
Exactly.
Is there anything that's on the dollar menu?
I don't know that there is anything that is exactly $1 anymore on the dollar menu. Someone please fact check me. Maybe there's one thing, but on the McDonald's, I think it's called the 1, 2, 3 menu now.
Now, is this sponsored content? Are you sponsored by McDonald's?
I don't think McDonald's would want me to complain about their prices. I don't think this would be good sponsor. See the 1, 2, 3 menu.
Yeah. Okay. $1, $2, $3 menu.
This is my issue.
But what is it? McDouble?
Let's see how much it is.
I don't know. It's how many calories? Be nice if it was 1, 2, or 3 calories. That'd be pretty good.
I will say that spicy chicken sandwich on the dollar menu. Oh, it's just the McChicken. That's where it's at, but it's not $1.
Yeah. Okay. So here's things that you could see on the $1, $2, $3 menu, but we don't know which one is which.
Yeah.
Okay. And you may need to head right to Best Buy.
That's true. I have a question for you since you bring up Liz.
Can we make up a game of like give me all the things on the menu and I have to tell you if they're $1, $2, or $3?
Let's do it. That's the next.
We don't have the answers. We don't have the answers. I'm sorry.
Win, lose, or
sausage
draw,
burrito.
Definitely not $1. I'd say 3. We don't have the answers. We
don't know the answers. Okay. Maybe somebody who works at McDonald's can tell us. Okay, go ahead.
I think she feels like she's going to join the potential losing finalist club, which, me and Owen are, happy to wrap our arms around anyone who joins this club. But what do you think is the deal with Venus? Because her reaction out there with her castmates seems so different than her reaction with the fans. And I'm trying to get a sense of what is going on.
Well, to the fans, she's mother.
Queen.
To the people on the island, not mother. Is that part of being mother? That to be mother to the fans, do you have to be not mother to the other players?
I don't think so. Because
can you be both?
Wasn't Dee mother to both the fans and out there? Like, isn't Dee an example of sort of a
I feel like
strong...
Julie was more the mama.
Yeah, but mother is different than mama.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I
guess you can be mother to all.
Like Parvati is mother and also was
but
mother.
She wasn't, that wasn't invented yet when she was mothering.
But now she's a traitor and she's mother on that show.
Now she's a mother.
We sound 85, Rob. We're doing that thing where we're using vernacular.
We sound very hip. You sound very.
Oh boy.
I watched a TikTok that gave me some Gen Alpha definitions, and I was watching it, and my son came in the room, and he was like, "Dad, are you looking things up in the dictionary?" I'm like, "Nope, it was just in my TikTok. I didn't look for this."
Gen Alpha.
I didn't look for it.
Gen Alpha calls TikTok the dictionary.
Oh, do they really?
Bam.
The
No, it was a
Dictionary.
bad joke. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about Mother Venus.
Oh, I have plenty of thoughts about Mother Venus. What do you want to know? That
I'm
why
just
don't
curious
people like her on the show?
what the schism is between what we're seeing and what's happening. And
Do you
also,
think that they can tell she's Mother and like, I don't like this.
you
This is
mother.
like this is where we're losing clout right now.
My
She's draining all the clout from the season.
My feeling is that like everyone is flawed and sometimes your flaws combine with groupthink. And that if her flaws are sort of like how she approaches people, like the tone of that, it's sort of combining with groupthink to create this thing. I'm just curious because it seems like there's this big gap of how she's being received out there versus at home.
Mhm.
Also, do you agree with my Charlie Kenzie? Do you think someone can win outside that pair?
Yes, I do that. I think that there are a couple other viable winners.
Can you tell me? I'm so curious. I think Tiff is one, but I just get the
Yeah, I
sense
think
that Kenzie has narrated that duo.
I do think Tiffany is still a potential winner. I feel like that those are probably the top three. I think Liz also. I think is in my
Liz?
yeah. I think she's still in my contenders.
I'm sorry. You think Liz wins and this is the
I
story the
don't.
show gives
No.
her?
That's not what you asked me. That's not that.
Okay.
That you asked me who can win and who can't, and I have not seen anything that rules Liz out yet.
Except her entire story and how the
No,
survivor gods are choosing to tell it.
I don't think that she's ruled out, and she just made a big move this
Really?
week. I think that Liz is. I think that if Erica can be the winner of a season, then Liz can be the winner of the season.
But Erica never had a montage of like bonkers things she was saying.
Yeah, but I don't think it was Tevin who was like, I think that Liz has made a mistake, but it's not necessarily like that people that we saw everybody saying. And also I think Randon thought she was a little odd. But other than that, I don't think that she's been like universally panned from the other survivors.
I mean, listen, I like Tiff and I like Maria, but I just it's hard when I feel like so much of the sitcom protagonist has been either Charlie or Kenzie, who
Mhm.
I really like. Kenzie's just lovely. And I would trust Kenzie to cut my hair, and that's a
Oh,
huge
wow. That's a
compliment.
huge vote
Yeah.
of confidence. But let's stick with Venus for a minute. I want to
Yes,
talk more
yes.
about Venus.
Let's
Okay.
talk about Venus.
What's been your reaction to her? Now, did you know of Venus's popularity online before you started watching?
Yes, like I said, some of the stuff that's like punch through the bubble. I for those listening, I made a punch through
Yeah.
the bubble motion. Um yeah, I saw a lot of chatter online, a lot of both butting heads and fan support towards Venus. And I was just kind of fascinated by this seemingly controversial
Mhm.
character. And then I was watching the show and I felt for her when the person who sort of brought her in and gave her some empathy then got medevaced for his numb
Mhm.
hand.
Randon.
Um and then again when I think gosh, I don't remember exactly who it was. Maybe someone seemed to again anyone who kind of reaches out to Venus with empathy kind of bad luck befalls them. She seems
Mm.
to sort of unfortunately, and so now she's left with this group of people that are really don't seem to jive with her.
Yes.
She was openly called. I thought it was really interesting that they openly referred to her as a goat. My feelings on the word. We don't have to go over this forever, but I think so much of it is like perception and groupthink and all
Greatest
that.
of all time.
Greatest of all time. I think for those watching, just to be clear, those watching the show, they're like, oh, well, that means something. The winner of my season was called a goat when I was out there by a couple. Like it just people throw this word
Yeah.
out and shit changes. Um,
But
but
could somebody flip it around and say, "Hey, you all said I was a goat, and you're right. I am the greatest of all time," and then just drop the mic?
I think it takes a little bit more of the currents changing before that. But you know what? I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Venus said, "I can't wait to get to the end and just throw it in all their faces that they never believed in me."
Won't
And
that
I
be great?
just unfortunately, perception becomes reality, and anyone who perceived her differently seems to be gone now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Well, look, that from Venus's perspective, she took
mhm.
out Soda. And then I think she's probably also going to feel like, hey, I played a big role in, I've been saying get rid of Tevin. Tevin's gone. And
Yeah, but
so maybe she had like, okay, people were thinking, okay, Venus was maybe not that impactful, but if she's like, pounding her chest, like, hey, look at me. I got two in a row. Who else wants a piece of this?
perception is reality, and unfortunately, Tevin
But
is
her
gonna go.
perception is that she's killing it.
But the jury perception is what matters. Like,
Yeah.
as you
That's a
know,
rough
as we all know.
start to Ponderosa for Venus.
Because Tevin's gonna go to Soda and be like, "Hey, I was the one who, whatever." Yeah, it's interesting because I think of this perception thing and this goat thing a lot. Obviously, it's something that's thrown at losing finalists quite a bit. But again, like there was someone my season who called the winner at one point and said, "Oh, he's the biggest goat out here." And that shifted. And good on him. And takes a lot of skill to like shift that tide. Um, but unfortunately with Venus, it just feels like it just feels like everyone's against her. And I think that feeling probably doesn't help. She was probably internalizing that as well. What are you're
Hmm.
squinting? Do you disagree with, or are you looking at I think Venus is interesting. I just think that she's clearly perceptive in a lot of ways, but also struggling to jive with the group. I do think it's interesting watching the season all at once, how these quote unquote bad players, like the early boots, like a lot of them spoke truths. Um, but it's a Cassandra thing where no one believed them because of everything else surrounding them. Like both Bhanu and Jeff said that Kenzie was a huge threat. Jess said she's
Mermaid
gonna.
Dragon.
Right, that was Bhanu, and then Jess said she's gonna float her way to the final 3 and charm her way there,
Yeah.
and Kenzie seems to be able to she seems like she's lowering her threat level since she was just called a strategic mastermind, but I think that Jess and Bhanu weren't wrong, like, they spoke some truths, and I think Venus is a similar thing where she speaks truth, but sort of isn't being listened to,
Well,
so it's just
I think
interesting.
that for Kenzie, I think that what has really helped her is that she's had this massive Q shield of like, who's thinking about Kenzie when Q from her tribe has really come in and been such a big force. And while Q did seem like he wanted to target Kenzie early on, he seemed to have moved off that. And then secondly, people look at Tiffany as Q's number
Yeah.
two. And so that she almost has two layers of shields where people aren't really looking at Kenzie. And I think she's also able to kind of be like good cop where Q is the boss. But like, okay, let me be able to talk to Kenzie. So I think that's been a really nice spot for her and the way that she plays the game. As far as like what can Venus do differently? I don't know. I just think that the way that Venus is playing right now, I'm sure there's a lot of different factors here, is that from the perspective of the other players, she is at the bottom of things. And that I think she plays the game like she's somebody who is at the top. And that I think it might be interesting in another season where maybe Venus had her own alliance of like
Yeah.
people that were with her, that maybe like her play style would be more effective. But based off of how this season is going, that Venus does not play the game that people traditionally play when they are at the bottom.
That 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 was a lot of good insight. I think that I think I've said this on one of the other 12 podcasts I've done. But I think that what makes a winner more likely to win, what makes someone more likely to win is when the perception of themselves is as close as possible to how they're being perceived by others. And the larger that gap, the more likely your ego's going to get big and you're going to get voted out, or you're going to miscalculate and lose at the end. Hey-o. And I think the closer you can be to like, this is how I think people are viewing me, versus and to like, and this is how I'm being viewed. Like, Kenzie got named as sort of like this strategic mastermind by Bhanu. She knows that. She knows that's a perception, and she's managed to quiet herself down and, like you said, hide behind two great shields. Tiff now publicly as an idol. That means people are going to want potentially Tiff out. That's why what Q did is so hard for Tiff, and I really feel for her. And I think that the gap of how Venus is perceiving herself versus how Venus is being perceived by others is big, at least from my experience. And we all probably speak to like our experience out there. But when you can be humble enough to be like, okay, I can't beat these people, but I actually understand who I can beat and how I can navigate, you have a better chance. I think on this season, Venus is, listen, if Venus gets the win, I'm sure we'll celebrate, and so will the crowd. But I think that it's going to be, I think her fate is written at Final Tribal already.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to get there.
Do you think that there's something about the new era that makes it like a little bit more predictable how this could potentially be going?
Why would you say that?
Because I kind of feel like that she seems like she's on this trajectory, and that we almost can see like very easily about how she gets to the point where now, okay, she's not a threat. Who's coming for her? The game has shifted where that it almost seems like I think that there's probably a much better chance that she's sitting in the final three than that she's going to be voted out the next couple of weeks.
I don't know if it's new. I guess in an old era season, she would have some off days to potentially, I think Venus could use some off days. I think she's one of the people that could use a couple off days to sort of take a breath and try to connect with people socially. Maybe it is the speed. I just feel like, she's constantly the backup vote. So was Jake last season. But I don't think anyone. It's interesting. Q's whole beginning of his thing with Tiff was that she was like, why are we trying to get Venus out? Like, she is not a threat out here. And that started everything. But I think more people are going to start thinking like Tiff, where it's like you have Hunter backflipping off of a challenge, which I get from the viewer perspective. Why is he a threat? But I am talking about out there. You see this tall, good looking,
everybody
guy.
thinks he's a threat. No, nobody's saying why is Hunter a threat.
But you have him. You have I think probably Maria is seen as pretty threatening too. She seems like very focused and game oriented, and I just think you're gonna start seeing people try to pull Venus in more than she's past the point of voting her out. Can Venus be
pulled in, though? I think is going to be the question. I think that there is definitely that opportunity for Venus to go along with these votes, but I feel like that Venus, to what we've seen so far, I don't think Venus wants to be pulled in. Venus wants to direct the votes, and I think that could be the one thing that ends up getting her voted out of the game. Where if she ends up like we saw her at the merge, where they said, "All right, Venus, the plan is going to be Mariah. It's not you. Okay, so just write down Mariah," and she basically said that plan sucks. I want to vote out Charlie. And then they almost like turned it back around. So I don't know if she's going to be like traditionally like the person that we see at the bottom who's going to be able to like, hey, write down this person's name. Like, okay, good, got it. And don't worry about her. She might want to like keep doing her own thing.
I think when I say pull in Venus, I don't mean pull her in and tell her the vote. I mean, make Venus feel like she's coming up with the plans. There are some times when you work with someone, you have to make them feel like it's their idea, like, but I think I think Venus is a shiny enough ally member. There's no alliances anyways. Yeah. I just don't see the majority of them getting together and actually voting Venus off. Watch this happen next episode.
Look,
like when I
that's why it's been
talk
fun.
Shanna. That's why. But I just I do think Venus doesn't seem like she wants to work with people's plans, but I just in this era of shot in the dark, I just see her as a constant backup. She's perfect because having a backup, when you don't have a backup but you have shot in the dark, you have to throw out a name as a backup, and that has the potential to piss off whoever's name is the backup. And in this case, just like with Jake, we saw the same thing. Jake was always the backup, so there was no backup person getting pissed off. Venus seems to be the backup. But
Okay.
you know what? I think she'd be a very entertaining jury member as well.
She could do it all. She's a star.
A star.
Okay. All right. Hannah, you mentioned, I want to talk about what Sophie said on Twitter about the rice negotiation. Okay.
Okay.
Here you go. This week, we saw it again. Sophie says, Survivor idea for the rice bribe. Instead of basically bribing the weak to sit out and show their weakness, bribe the challenge threats to prove their strength and heroism. Rice, but only if 3 people take XYZ penalty in the challenge, e.g. Start 5 minutes earlier on the poll. Okay. So what do you think of what Sophie is suggesting of, instead of like, hey, all of you that can't even win, why won't you just sit out, losers? Could you potentially say to the hunters, the Qs, like, hey, give the rest of us a chance. If you all feel so safe, give us a chance to win the immunity. You all sit out. Will that work?
I mean, I think that's way more fun.
Fun, but I don't think those guys are ever going to say yes.
I mean, didn't Q volunteer
Q did,
to sit
but
out?
he's, I guess, but if Hunter says he will sit out, does Q want to play then?
Hunter says this was challenging because, Venus said, I think I can do this. And she, and she did. She almost did. She did great. I
do think that this was interesting, this challenge, where I feel like that if you're somebody who is sort of like, more slight in stature, you're not a challenge beast. This is an endurance challenge. I mean, traditionally, these are the types of challenges where, Ozzy and Tyson have won, but also like, I'm pretty sure Candace is. I don't think Parvati. I don't know if Parvati ever won this.
Win?
Parvati won a. Maybe she did. I'm sorry, she did. She did. I'm getting confused. So women have won this challenge, where and not necessarily it's not like a strength thing. So if you're Venus, you're like, hey, this might be my only chance to win an immunity this season. I don't want to sit out of this. Right?
Yes, I think I was going to sit out of.
Yes. What do you think?
Well, we didn't get like the tribe rice thing, but we did have like he would try to bribe us with food. And I was always afraid that the storyline was going to be I chose to sit out for like a sandwich and then I got voted out. And I think that's in everybody's mind. I think everybody is thinking, what if I volunteer to sit out? And then my story is I go home and I could have tried. I don't really think it's fair to like berate people who then fall out early. Although now what happens? They don't have rice. Do you think they're gonna
give them the rice somehow? Like I don't know what they're gonna do. What are they gonna do this week? Give me the creative solution. How do they get them the rice anyway?
Whoever wins hide and seek has to go on a journey, and on that journey you win. Maybe it is a journey, actually. Maybe they'll do a journey thing where you have the opportunity on the journey to win rice for the tribe or a prize for yourself. And they'll send someone who will choose the rice. Use that
How about
journey.
This? How
my
about
favorite
this?
Journey. Oh.
Okay.
My favorite. Oh.
Go ahead. What's your favorite journey?
I was just gonna say, my favorite journey was the one where you had to figure out who was lying. I like that one a lot.
Yes.
It felt like a werewolf game. Yeah.
Would you have been able to do that? Would you have been able to tell that Jelinski was lying?
Yes, when he said he was lying, I would have known he was lying. But sorry, I interrupted your rice
Yeah.
spiel.
Okay. How about this? All right. So we've seen them like last season talk about like, okay, we have like some individual jars of rice. Like, could we have some kind of a challenge where there's something like and I'm just gonna throw out like, okay, do you remember the log carrying challenge from Survivor Winners at War that they did on that Ethan almost died again?
Yeah, where they had to run around and carry it.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we're
Oh
gonna do
no,
some
run
kind of
up. Yes.
yeah, and move all the things. Okay, so we're gonna have a challenge today. Okay, any person that completes it, they get a jar of rice. They can share it, keep it for the tribe, do whatever you want with it. Okay, and then we're gonna get like a couple people are gonna come back with the rice. Are they gonna give other people some of their rice? Are they gonna hoard their rice? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I just feel for Liz. Liz has not eaten at all. She can't eat anything.
She did eat at the she had some gluten-free sandwiches
She had
last time.
one meal. I just really,
Yes.
if they're surviving on coconuts and she can't eat shit, Liz, poor Liz. I just really feel for her. I hope everyone would give her their rice. Yeah, sure, they could do that, or just never feed them. See what
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see. What else do we have for
Got
Hannah Lil
questions
Nesson
everywhere.
today? Okay.
Do we have more voicemails?
I do have one here. This is from our friend Alex Forstenhauser has a voicemail for
Course.
you.
The traditional.
Alex Forstenhauser here, longtime listener, six-time caller. My question is for Hannah Shapiro. Hannah, we remember all too well what a big Taylor Swift fan you are, and this season we've seen Charlie has his own love story with her music. Do you think Charlie should have said no to an alliance that seems so full of bad blood and is bound to hurt his reputation? Should he just embrace being a fearless anti-hero and shake it off by telling them we are never ever getting back together?
There was a question from the chat also. Selena wants to know, Rob, what does Hannah think about the new Taylor Swift album? We need to know. The response has been polarizing to Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department. Hannah, who famously got to go see Taylor Swift due to the generosity of an RHAP listener, what's been your review?
First of all, that was a fantastic question. Alex included so many titles. I feel like Survivor's really trying to get Taylor's attention. Do you not? I mean, they've included so much Taylor Swift.
Do you think it's working?
I think Taylor's a little busy. I don't think Taylor's going to be the new Sia Money, but I think
does not rock.
This does not rock.
Also, I think Charlie was really smart for joining the Shaky Six, Alex. I think that was a good move.
Look, Survivor's going about this the wrong way. This is not how you go about getting Taylor Swift's attention. They've got it all backwards. They've got it all backwards. You know how you get Taylor Swift's attention? You have a person on the show that talks about Taylor Swift sucks. She'll respond immediately. There'll be a song about Survivor. Think about it, Hannah. You snicker. You know this is genius.
You heard it from Rob first. Cast Rob on All Stars 50.
But that's not how I feel. But you can say Taylor Swift is awesome till the cows come home. She's never going to respond. One person says, the Taylor Swift is kind of mid. You're going to get attention. You're going to get some attention.
The Story of Us Part 2. Island Dreams.
There could be a double album about Survivor if this happens.
The chat says Rob has lost it. Just so I got
Have
distracted. Russ W versus Rob C.
This is not how I feel.
Listen, in terms of the
I'm in no position to judge Taylor's music, but I'm just saying if you wanted to get
Ash says bad take, Rob.
If you wanted to get her attention, that's how you do it.
Rob, there are first of all, to answer the question about it being a polarized response, this is the time in in the Taylor Swift trajectory where people start saying it's polarizing again. If for a long time, listen, I grew up listening to Cold as You from the OG Taylor Swift album. So I've seen this trajectory again and again. Here's what happens. They build her up, they cut her down, they build her up so that they could watch her fall. This is just, something Taylor Swift does well is narrate the what the media likes to do with
Is that why
women
Charlie's such a good
celebrities.
narrator? Because he studied from the master?
I think I could compete with Charlie's song offs, but I think his, I think clearly Charlie is a Swift fan. I wonder if he knew how much of it was going to make it. But in terms of just to answer the initial question, Selena, I don't remember who Celia. Wait, who said it?
We'll get the exact spelling.
The exact
I don't think
spelling of
I
the name.
can bring the question back because I already put it up on the screen.
But to answer the question, I'm still in the phase where I'm listening to a couple songs 100 times to get those songs down. But more the chat has a lot of opinions on this. I guess my question for
do you think that Taylor Swift will shout out Charlie before the end of the season? Charlie, thank you for mentioning me so much on Survivor 46. Everybody watch Survivor on Paramount Plus.
I think Taylor Swift might be busy writing like 100-song albums and 100-hour shows. I do think Survivor
but if one person would make it say something a little rude.
Rob, do you not think millions of people already have? Like, do you understand that like Taylor Swift is over was trending worldwide? Like, do you really think one more person's gonna shake her?
On TV though?
Shake her off?
On a
shake
show?
It off?
On a show? If a person said something on Survivor, like we're not talking about one tweet. This is a huge show.
I mean, she did go after Ginny and Georgia for making. I can't.
Yeah, remember that? Poor Ginny and Georgia.
I actually know the showrunner of Ginny and Georgia, who's really cool. But no, Rob, I think every man who likes to hear himself talk has let the world know he doesn't like Taylor Swift. And a lot of them has said it to me. I had one guy at a game night, unprompted. He said, Taylor Swift is overrated. And I said, I wasn't talking, who was talking about Taylor Swift? He said he only knows one song of hers and then proceeded to, for 45 minutes, explain this to me. And at one point started quoting other songs of hers. Every man who, and honestly, women too, but every person who doesn't like Taylor Swift is very vocal about it. So no, I don't think dissing Taylor Swift is going to get her to. People who don't like Taylor Swift are so vocal about it. So,
again, mind you, I did not say that this was my opinion.
You keep saying that you think it's going to work.
I do. I think it was more likely to work than saying how much you love Taylor Swift.
Sorry. Yes, I that might play into it, but from my experience with people who don't like Taylor Swift's music, there is vocalism.
No doubt.
There is vocal. Someone asked me what song I keep listening to again and again and again. I think I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is super catchy. I like Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. I like that one. I Hate It Here is fun.
I'm sorry, you hated what? You hate the song that you hated?
No, I said I Hate It Here is a fun song.
I Hate It Here is a fun song.
Clara Bow is a good commentary on like the turnover of female pop stars. What I do is I listen to a couple songs a lot of times.
Do you rank them?
I'm not really a ranker, no.
They're arbitrary and reductive, as Stephen would say.
some reporter recently ranked seasons, and
Oh,
they said about 33. They said Hannah's neuroses was sometimes entertaining, and I was like, all right. People got very mad about his rankings.
was it
I did.
Dalton Ross? Was it the Dalton
I
Ross
like
rankings?
Dalton Ross a lot. Yeah, but it may have been. People got very passionate. Did they
Yeah,
not?
there was one day where they got they people like to look at his rankings and then they get mad about what season.
I people have opinions.
People have opinions.
People have opinions.
Mhm.
And when it comes to Taylor Swift, people like to say their opinions loudly.
Should they not do Survivor rankings anymore?
Oh, I don't. I think people should rank it all the time. I think people should rank every single player that's ever been on Survivor. If you're
Mhm.
gonna do a ranking, go full out.
Yes.
I want to know where I fall.
Where
out
would
of
Jelinski
6,000.
be?
He'd be in either the top several or the bottom several.
So hard because he's made such an impact.
I think what Jelinski has done is impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's harder than it looks.
He's really made something here.
Do you think Jelinski will be invited back?
I think it's hard because I feel like that if they brought people back all the time, if Survivor was like the challenge and then like every couple seasons was a returnee season, I think that they would. But if say like Survivor 50, like I mean maybe if they brought back 18 people from the new era, I could see it. But I kind of feel like, all right, well, I feel like there's a lot of people from the 30s that we still have to like. When's Hannah gonna come back? We got to get to we got to get a lot of people back for Survivor 50, right?
Never.
Do we have room for the if we end up doing some kind of like all timers? Like, do we have room for with all due respect to the legend?
We don't have room for anyone. If it's going to be one, are they going to do 3 tribes? It's going to be 18 returnees.
18 returnees.
There's about 100 returnees who think they're about to get back. So
right.
This
so
is
I don't know.
not looking good.
Okay.
For Jelinski and others.
Okay.
Oh,
Hannah, what else is on your mind? Anything?
What is on my mind?
We talked about the whole season. Best Buy.
The only thing I'm returning to is RHAP, if you'll have me.
Yes.
For
okay.
47, the cast of which 47 will be under an ironclad social media contract. Is my
what do you think's happened here? Because you've seen it over the years that it really ebbs and flows of just how close of an eye that the CBS social media department likes to keep tabs on these players. What was it like in season 33?
We behaved.
Were they like, hey, you better not be wilding out on the social media? It used to be called Twitter then.
If you have a kid who like follows every rule, you don't ever.
I personally don't know what that's like, but I would imagine it.
That's what 33 was. We followed the rules. We got sent this thing by the social media team. It was like a photo that kept getting zoomed in on, and they asked people to post that, and some people did. But we were not talking on
What do you mean
Twitter.
It was a photo that you kept zooming in on?
They had like a photo of the Gen X cast and a photo of the Millennial cast. And they sent it out and said, this is what we need you to like tweet out. And the Gen X cast, they literally like zoomed in on a still photo and zoomed across. It was very old school. And they said, this is how we want you to handle social media. Just post this weird video photo thing.
Yeah.
That was basically, I sound like 100, but that was basically, we didn't talk about anything. I think Adam once commented on a podcast analysis or a couples, and I thought that was so bold.
Yeah. Look, he's been breaking the rules ever since they invented the rules.
Yeah, Adam Klein's few podcast comments really I was like, whoa. I think a few other people tweeted things and I thought, wow.
Do you like it when the survivors get to speak their mind more, or do you feel like it gives away too much?
I mean, I think it's entertaining. It's like you have a book that got made into a movie, and the thing airing is the movie, but the book is the social media
Like, did you know
frenzy.
that in the book that this really happens?
I do think it sounds like it would be hard to be on a cast where everyone keeps explaining everything on Twitter, though. Would you feel pressure to sort of throw in your 2 cents if everyone else was?
I guess once the sort of like toothpaste is out of the tube. Yeah. I mean,
What does that mean after the season? Is that
no,
what
I mean,
the
once one
toothpaste-
person is like saying a bunch of stuff, like I feel like I would feel like about like, well, actually, like this is blah 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 blah.
right?
If nobody's allowed to talk, nobody's allowed to talk.
See, I think that's more ideal mentally, but in terms of promoting the show, I think they should let contestants talk more, like The Bachelor. The
Mhm.
Bachelor contestants get to, they go nuts.
Yeah. I
I
don't know.
feel
I mean,
like.
I'm of two minds about it. Selfishly, like I don't want anybody to give anything away. I like to have all the discussion. It'd be no fun if the whole season got spoiled. But also selfishly, like when they all talk, we have a lot to talk about. So
Do you feel like something has been spoiled for you?
I do and I don't. Like I don't feel like that the show has been spoiled, but the way that like certain people are acting, it makes me feel like, okay, well, I can intuit that this does not happen because these people don't like each other. But then I also go back to it was 10 years ago this spring that Survivor Cagayan was the craziest season we've ever had on Survivor social media. And I never would have thought that Tony was the winner based off the way that he was being a lunatic on Twitter.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you feel like
I thought he was the first boot.
he was in a different season? Do you feel
Now
like
the first boot is out on Twitter, carrying on like a winner.
do you think oh shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, do you think that this cast goes after podcasters? Do I have something to be afraid of? If I
Oh.
do, please don't come after me. I will cry.
I have
They
some,
do.
I have some
Bad news. Bad news bears. Okay. Have they gone after
No.
podcasters? What have I said that is gonna upset?
Look,
have
I don't think.
said
Look, you
anything
didn't say
upsetting?
anything. You didn't say anything. That's gonna get you in trouble. They did go after. So there was a guy who won Big Brother. named
Yes, Andy Herron.
Herron.
I'm aware of this. Yes.
Andy Herron. And he watched Australian Survivor. And he said, Australian Survivor is so much better. The cast is better. That this is cast is off-putting. I'm not liking. And this was like at the height of the Bhanu era.
Okay.
They dragged him to hell.
Okay. Can I have an open letter right now to the cast of 46 then?
Yes.
Listen, y'all, if I have said anything that is
47, 46.
46, this cast. Is this not 46? I'm losing it. No, it's 46. To this cast, if I have said anything on this podcast that makes you want to drag me to hell, please don't. I cry easily.
You didn't say
I
anything.
bruise
You're fine.
easily. You guys, I have had fun watching your season. I look forward to meeting you all at Adam's wedding. I'm sure everyone will be there. At least Jelinski will be. Yeah, I honestly don't know. Usually I get to know more people, unspoiled, of course. And I've only talked to one this season. Sweet Kenzie. Am I allowed to say that I've spoken
I don't
to
think
Kenzie?
so.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, they say anything. Yeah.
Cut that out. I have not. She said my Eclipse trip looked good. That was the extent. Oh no, I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
No, listen, you think that's what somebody's going to get busted for this season? Did you DM Hannah?
There have been no spoilers, to be clear. I don't podcast spoiled because I like making big guesses and being wrong in an episode. Which
That's what's fun. That's what's fun. And then just to circle back to Andy Herron, then he he can't get enough. He can't get enough. He likes the heat.
He likes it. I don't like the heat. I get out of the oven.
He tweeted out after this week's episode, I stand by my Survivor thoughts that got me canceled a month ago. He loves it.
I don't. I don't like being in heated debates.
He loves he loves it. He can't get enough.
I am so bad in a fight. I cry so quickly.
Yeah.
Please don't fight me. This is the best season that's ever aired.
Yeah.
Don't come for me.
And Andy's wrong. Andy's right. He could take those takes to the Best Buy bathroom. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Flush
wrong.
him
This
down
season,
the fancy
this season
toilet.
got good.
I
Look,
think
maybe he was on to something during the days of Bhanu, but no, he's wrong now.
I think this season is freaking weird, and let's just embrace it for what
I've had the best time talking about it this week. Looking for more. I'll be back on
fun
Wednesday night to talk about it.
Who are you having on? I know, but am I allowed to...
Yes, Cassidy Clark.
You're having on Sweet Cassidy.
Yes, she's going to join me on Wednesday night to talk about it all live after the episode. So join us for that, and we'll get her take on everything. Hannah, what's coming up for you? We know that you're working on the sketches.
Yeah, I'm actually applying to grad school currently.
Whoa.
Yeah, I took a couple. I'm looking to do marriage and family therapy and get my therapist degree. And potentially, I got really inspired when I had Denise on my podcast and have mapped out a route towards sex therapy that I can combine with my writing stuff. I took the prereq courses, Intro to Psych and Abnormal Psych. I then hypothetically proceeded to diagnose everyone in my life and realized I went full Brita from Community and realized I'm not allowed to do that because I took one abnormal psych class. But I really have enjoyed the psychology return to school. And so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to go to the Klein wedding this weekend and meet Jelinski and I'm sure several other Survivor players.
That's so fun.
And continue to make comedy at Hannah Lil Nesson on Instagram, TikTok, X, Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat. Yeah, so please follow along the comedy and while I'm also a student.
Yes. Okay. Colleen says from one therapist to another, future therapist. Good luck.
Thank you. I feel like this turn in my career will surprise nobody. I think nobody is surprised that Hannah's becoming a therapist. But I really enjoy learning. I'd really love to at some point write about the mental health behind being a reality show contestant. And I had a very public panic attack. And so many people have reached out to me over the years and asked me things. And I decided it was time to get fully educated on it. And it's a long journey. It's not immediate. And I'm slightly older, but I'm excited to sort of pivot and learn. So Thank you so much, Colleen, for the best of luck wishes.
Yes. Okay. Well, Hannah, thank you for coming in and educating us on everything you learned on Survivor 46 at between 2.7 and 3.2.
Yes, please feel free to this podcast is 2 hours. Feel free to watch it at whatever speed you want.
You can get it down to probably like
0.5,
65 minutes probably at the right speed.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you always. We always have a good time to talk about this crazy show. Okay. And appreciate you all being here. We love to read your comments and see what you had to say about this episode. I'll be back on Wednesday night for our next episode 9 recap. The episode title, Hannah, is called Spicy Jeff. Now, would Spicy Jeff be on the $1, $2, or $3 menu at McDonald's?
Oh, he's on the regular $20 McDonald's menu. Spicy Jeff. I love it.
All right. I'll take a Spicy Jeff to go Wednesday night. Join us then. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everybody.